Procrastination. We all know it. We've all done it. You've got a to-do list a mile long, but instead of tackling your tasks, you find yourself scrolling through social media or watching the next episode of your favorite show. It seems so easy to put things off. But why do we procrastinate? What's going on inside our brains when we delay action? Let's break it down. Procrastination is often misunderstood as just laziness. But in reality, it's a complex psychological behavior that has more to do with emotions than it does with a lack of motivation. When we face a task, our brain weighs how it makes us feel. If the task seems overwhelming, stressful, or even just boring, our brain tries to avoid it. The brain chooses the immediate reward, the comfort of distractions like checking your phone or eating something delicious, over the long-term benefits of completing the task. This happens because of two parts of the brain that are at odds with each other, the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. The limbic system, which controls our emotional responses and seeks pleasure, urges us to avoid tasks that feel uncomfortable. It wants instant gratification. The prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, is responsible for planning, decision-making, and controlling our impulses. It's the rational part of the brain that knows we need to get things done to achieve our goals. But in moments of stress or discomfort, the limbic system often wins, and we procrastinate. So, what makes tasks feel so uncomfortable? For some, it's the fear of failure. For others, it's perfectionism or a lack of confidence. When we worry that we won't do the task well or that we might not be able to finish it, we put it off. It's easier to avoid the discomfort than to confront it head-on. This pattern leads to even more anxiety and stress, creating a vicious cycle. But here's the good news: procrastination doesn't have to control you. The first step in breaking the habit is understanding that it's not about willpower. It's about managing your brain's response to tasks. One of the most effective ways to combat procrastination is to break your tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. The bigger the task, the more overwhelming it seems. But if you break it down into steps, it becomes much easier to handle. Let's say you need to write a report. Instead of thinking about the entire report, focus on one small section at a time. Maybe your first step is just outlining the introduction. Once you complete that small step, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment, which releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical in your brain. This positive reinforcement motivates you to keep going. Another trick is to set a timer for just 10 or 15 minutes. Tell yourself that you only need to work for that short amount of time. This lowers the pressure and makes it easier to get started. Often, once you begin, you'll find it's easier to keep going. The hardest part is always starting. But there's more. Reward yourself for completing these small tasks. Each time you finish a part of your project, take a break, have a snack, or do something enjoyable. This helps retrain your brain to associate the task with positive emotions, rather than stress or dread. Another key to overcoming procrastination is shifting your mindset. Instead of focusing on perfection or the fear of failure, focus on progress. Realize that not everything needs to be perfect. Taking small, imperfect steps will get you closer to your goal than not taking action at all. You can also reframe how you think about tasks. When faced with a difficult or unpleasant task, ask yourself, what will I feel like once I've finished this? Visualizing the positive emotions and the sense of relief you'll experience when the task is done can give you the push you need to start. Finally, be kind to yourself. Procrastination doesn't make you lazy or weak. It's a behavior that can be changed with the right strategies and mindset. If you procrastinate, don't beat yourself up about it. Understand that it's a natural response to stress or discomfort, and that you can change it with practice. So, the next time you find yourself procrastinating, remember, it's not about willpower. It's about understanding the emotional triggers and retraining your brain to take action. Break your tasks into smaller steps, reward yourself for progress, and keep the bigger picture in mind. Over time, you'll find that you can take control and stop procrastinating, one small step at a time.